So it was a phone call that a mother never wants to get. And he was actually finishing semester at Clarion University. And he gave me a call and said, woke me out of my sleep. And he said, Mom, I just left college. I'm on my way home. And I said, okay. He said, unlock the door because I left my keys at school. And I said, okay. And I woke up that night, and I always wake up praying for him. But this time it was a little different. So I went down and unlocked the door. And I came back upstairs, and I was really praying very hard for him. And I prayed so hard I must have fell back to sleep. And then I got that call that changed my life forever. And she finally said, Donte got shot. And as I ended that call, so did my life that I once knew ended as well. And I began to say, did he get shot? What did she say is her? Did he say, what was, behind it? And lo and behold, fast forward, I tried to call people to go with me down to the scene, and no one answered their phone. And then I finally got to his brother, and he and I went down, and we got to the scene. And I got out my car, and I said, what happened? Like, I got a call that my son was shot, and I saw the ambulance over there, and I saw them, over there working on someone, but I didn't know who it was at the time. And my family started coming up to me, and it was Donte. We saw him, he got shot. And I was like, oh my God, is he dead? And I kept looking at the ambulance, and I realized that, well, the coroner's not there, so he must be still alive. And lo and behold, they gave the license to my son, his brother, and said, tell your mom to go home. And I said, I am not going home. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to leave my baby here on the ground. Because inside, I was still hoping that he was alive and something was changed for him. And no, she came back and said, Miss Hawkins, he wasn't the intended target, but your son has died. They couldn't do anything for him. And I said, can I see my baby for one last time? This is the first time as a mom that I'm going to see him, and he's warm, not in a cold, still place. And she said, you know what? You've been so patient. I'm going to let you go behind. And she did. She let me behind the yellow tape. And I was able to stand there, and I, as any mother, I said, can I touch my son one last time? And she's like, well, you really can. And I said, please let me touch my son for one more time. And as I got up on the curve, and I looked down, and I could see the bullet wounds and him bleeding. And I reached down with my hand, and I touched his head and said, wow, you got your hair cut, and I love it. And he opened up his eyes, and I was like, oh my God. And it was a message for me to say, Mom, I'm in a better place. I'm okay. And from there, I lost it. So till this day, I still don't know how I got back in my car or how I got home, but I just remember crying to the top of my lungs, saying, God help me. And that's what changed my life forever. So one of the things that helped me to begin my journey of true healing was I chose to forgive. I chose to forgive the guy that was the person of interest. The police could not bring charges because no one would testify, but we know exactly who the person of interest is. And I chose to forgive the individual. And how I knew I learned to forgive, because it was a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. And one day I was in the mall, and the person of interest was coming up the escalators, and I was walking through, and I began to see him, and I was like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? And I'm not going to tell you I had the great Christian response like, oh, I just want to go hug you and say I forgive you. No, I really wanted to make him feel the pain that I was feeling as it relates to my son. But as I took a pause and I thought about it, and it was just like, because of my faith, God was like, you done the work. You chose to forgive him. And I looked at him and I said, I forgive you. And walked out the mall, tears coming down my face. And I said, wow. And I realized that I set myself free when I let him go of all the anger, all the torment, all the revenge, everything. I went through the whole process. Like nothing, you took my son. So how can I make you feel what I felt? But actuality, it would never bring Donte back. And it would never resolve the fact that my son was gone. So I chose to forgive. I cherish those moments with him, and I enjoy the times that we had together. So I say to everybody, I made that dash count with him and I. And that was through learning how to accept the reality of that my child is gone. But one day I will see him again.